Hello and welcome back to Business English with Martin. I know it's been a few weeks since our last episode, but I am excited to be back with a great topic for you today. In this episode, we are going to talk about the challenges of running a small business. And why this topic? Because running a business sounds exciting, but in reality is one of the hardest things you can do. It's full of risks, but also full of opportunities. You already have a business, you know what I am talking about. You're planning to start one. This episode will help you understand what to expect. We'll cover the four most common challenges small business owners face. And I will give you real life examples. And of course, we will learn this episode key business English vocabulary that you can use at work or in conversations. At the end of the episode, I will give you a short recap and some phrases that you can practice to improve your fluency. And so stay with me until the end. Okay, now we have the section one. Okay, why this topic matters? Okay, running a small business is exciting because you are your own boss. You make decisions and you have the freedom to create something amazing. But at the same time, it can be stressful. You don't have a big team or big resources like a large company. But you need to handle many things at the same time. For example, you have to manage or know about marketing, customer service, accounting, time management, and so much more. Okay, we are going to explore these challenges. Okay, so we're going to start with the first one, that is the finding customer. Okay, the I think the first and maybe the biggest challenge is finding customers because if we are honest, without customers, there is no business. We can call this process customer acquisition in English. Okay. Okay. To recap, what is customer acquisition? That it means the strategies you use to get new clients. Okay. Another important term is target audience. Okay. So what I mean with target audience is the group of people that you are most likely to buy. Who are most likely to buy your product or service. That is the target audience, yeah, right? And if you have a business and you don't know your target audience, you can waste time and money on the wrong people. Okay? Okay, I will give you one example of this. Okay. For example, our biggest challenge is customer acquisition because the market is very competitive. Okay. Yes, this is true for many small businesses. Maybe you sell a product or service that people need. But if they don't know you exist, they will never buy from you. Okay? Now, let me share a quick personal story. Okay? In my case, I've been working in home decor installation for many years, since 2016, maybe 2015 in the middle. So at first, we didn't know anything about marketing or social media. All our clients came from word of mouth. Still, we do that. Still, we are working in about the social media, but the people recommending us to friends and family. That's great, but I think until now, it's not enough if you want to grow. So, well, later we realized that we have to use social media like Facebook, TikTok, but even then it's a challenge because now everyone is online, right? People have so many options. This is why customer acquisition is a constant challenge. Okay. Okay. Now, besides this, I will now recap. Okay, I will recap some key vocabulary that I talk until now. That is customer acquisition. That is getting new customers. Then we have target audience. That is your ideal clients, and we have more word of mouth when people recommend your service to others. Okay, we have some. For example, I will give you, for example, with target audience. Okay, for example, you could say our target audience is homeowners who want stylish curtains. Or the other, that we need a better customer acquisition strategy we could use, right? Okay, now let's move on the second challenge. The second challenge is dealing with competition. Okay, so this second challenge, that is competition, is, I think competition is everywhere. Okay, if you have a small business, you probably compete with bigger companies that have more money, better advertising, and lower prices. So the question here, the most important question is, how do you survive? Okay, so you need something called a competitive advantage. It's a very, very important, very important competitive advantage. Okay, so what is competitive advantage? Is what makes your business special or different from others. Okay, for example, in curtains, competitive advantage is personalized service and fast installation. It could be our competitive advantage. Okay. Okay. I have another word that is very good to know. That is the market share. So market share is the percentage of customers you have. Okay, compared to the entire market. In this case, yes, big companies usually dominate the market share, but small businesses can still win by offering a unique value. Okay. For example, in my case, I will tell you my case, because when I installing curtains, we knew we couldn't compete with big stores on price. So I realized that we need to focus more on quality and personal attention. That was our competitive advantage. And we made sure that clients can feel comfortable and happy with our service. Okay. Okay. To recap this, okay, very important words is competitive advantage and market share. Okay. To recap, competitive advantage, we say that is what makes your business better than others, and market share is the portion of the market you control. Okay. For example, with other example with market share, you could say we want to increase our market share by improving our customer service. Okay. Okay. Now, in the next part, we'll talk about money and time management. Okay. These other two challenges that every business owner struggle with. Okay. Okay, and right now we have the challenge number 3, that is money management. Okay, the third challenge. This is, I think, one of the main reasons small businesses fail. Okay, and why? It's because many business owners don't separate personal expenses from business expenses in most of the cases. They don't calculate the correct prices or they don't know their profit margin. Okay. So, by the way, what is profit margin? Okay. Profit margin, it means the difference between the cost of your product or service and the price you sell it for. Okay. I will repeat again. Profit margin is the cost of your product or service and the price you sell it for. Okay. For example, if it costs you to make a blind, okay, $50 to make, okay, and you sell it for $100, your profit margin is 50%. Okay. So another important term is that I think is very important to know is overhead costs. These are the fixed expenses of your business. Like, for example, I will give you an examples. Like, for example, rent, electricity, internet, salaries, transportation. Okay, so overhead costs. Okay, and why overhead costs are important? Because if your overhead costs are too high, to obviously you make less profit. Okay. For example, I will share you from my experience when I started installing curtains. We didn't calculate the real cost of materials like transportation and time. So we thought we were making money, but in reality, our profit margin was very small in yeah. So we learned that the hard way that you need to know you have to know your numbers. Okay. So I will recap again the key words. For example, I said the profit margin, that is the difference between cost and selling price. Okay. And we have the overhead costs. This is the basic expenses to run your business. For example, I will give you an example. For example, you could say we need to reduce our overhead cost to improve our profit margin. And yes, right, these two words are very complement each other. Okay, so now we have the next challenge, the challenge number 4, that is time management. Okay. Okay, the last challenge is time management. Let me tell you, okay, if you work in a small business, time is your most valuable resource. Okay, you may work right long hours because you do everything. You answer messages, you deliver products, you provide the service, and if you don't plan well, all of these things, if you don't plan well, you can burn out. Okay. It's very important to know the time management. Okay. So now we're going to repeat two important terms. That the first one is prioritize tasks. Is decide which things are most important, and deadline is the date or time when something must be completed. For example, I will give you an example with these words, okay, to remember. For example, I need to prioritize my task to meet my deadlines, okay? As I told you, deadlines is the date or time when something must be completed. Okay. For example, yes, we have to make a list. It's very important to make a list of your tasks every morning and choose the top three priorities. Okay, you have to write your priorities in the morning. No, you can do before, but you can also do in the morning very early, and you choose right the top three priorities. This is a simple habit that can save you hours. You can practice them. For example, my priority today is, or my deadline for for this project is next Friday to practice, right? Okay. Okay. To finish, okay. Okay. We're going to summarize what we cover in today's episode. Okay. The four big challenges of running a small business are, as I said, finding customers, right? The very important words are customer acquisition, target audience, word of mouth. Then we have competition, is keywords, for example, competitive advantage, market share. Then we have money management. That the keywords is, I could say, is profit margin and overhead cost. Okay, as we mentioned, and the last one is time management. Okay, keywords is prioritize tasks and deadlines. Okay. 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 These terms are okay. These terms like customer acquisition, competitive advantage, profit margin, deadlines. These are essential in business English too. It will help you sound more professional in any conversation, right? Okay. That's all for today. It was a good topic, really. Thank you so much for listening to Business English with Martin. I hope this episode helped you understand the main challenges of running a small business and gave you some new vocabulary to use in real life. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or follow the podcast for more lessons on business English. In the next episode, we will talk about why customer service can make or break your business. And trust me, this one is going to be really useful. Okay, see you next time.